the new Latin America powerhouse, which I think was like the phrase that was on the tip of everybody's tongue when talking about this team. It's been a pretty quick fall from grace for them, and it's very surprising and a little bit unfortunate for this team. Now, as we go through the map ban stage, we do know that we're not going to see the same map that was played last time between these teams, because when they fought earlier on in the season, it was on Bank, and Bank has been jettisoned from the map pool. It's now Theme Park that's in its place. Theme Park, the very first ban from Team One. They don't seem to want to go there, and if I'm Team Liquid, I would be pretty happy to go to Theme Park. Liquid has always been an extremely innovative team. They've always brought new strategies to existing maps, and they've brought fun things to new maps as well. But we're going to go to Clubhouse. This is a strong map for a team that is well coordinated, and you can roam on it. You can sit static on it. You can play a conservative defense. You can play on all of the floors. The rework to Clubhouse has really opened up the playmaking potential that teams have, and the addition of newer operators has certainly allowed for different strats to come out as well.
Just an interesting thing is Liquid is a very coordinated team, and so you'd imagine they'd be very good at Clubhouse, but it's one of their worst maps. They played it 4 times in the last few months or so. They only managed to beat Black Dragons, lost to INTZ on it, they lost to NIP on it, they lost to MIBR on this map. Team One, on the other hand, they've played Clubhouse twice and they've lost it 2 times. Not lost it 2 times. I guess they've drawn once and they lost it to NIP. They drew against INTZ. So it's not a good map for either team, really, at least if we're looking at the past. But of course, these things change. And with the large period of time between last time these guys actually played at all, whether it was on Clubhouse or otherwise, and now is going to allow for some, correction in their inability to win matches on this map.
Liquid had a bit of a disappointing showing at the 6 Invitational. They were overshadowed by their fellow countrymen in NIP and MIBR, as Liquid and FaZe had some significant struggles. And I mean, it was a real unfortunate situation for Liquid, because this was a team that came in and put in a hell of a performance at OGA Pit. They put in a great performance at DreamHack Montreal. They put in an excellent performance at BR6. And then they just unfortunately fell apart at the biggest event of the year. Now, they are an astonishingly popular team, regardless of how good they are. And the community vote shows that right now, 82% to 12% for Team One. Though Team One does have some very staunch supporters, Team Liquid have been far and away a much better team so far this season, and I think the vote reflects that. And even though they are not particularly adept at Clubhouse, like many teams, like we saw earlier today with FaZe on Cafe, there are changes that you can make to feel much more comfortable when it comes to playing on maps that might not usually be in your repertoire.
Yeah, and again, that time period where you can practice those new maps, I mean, it's going to be quite a lot. So that window should offer up an opportunity for both of these teams to get ready. And I think with a new map coming in Theme Park, you have to shore up. If you're not going to lean into that new map, you have to shore up your other options, like Clubhouse, for example, because you're going to find yourself there for sure. But we have a short break before we actually get into the action of this match. So bear with us. We'll be back soon.
right, welcome back. Hopefully this time we'll be able to get into the game, as the tech issues seem to have largely been sorted out by the team, and well, everybody is currently in the lobby. Major thumbs up for that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Anyway, we're going to be getting started in just a couple minutes with Team Liquid versus Team oNe eSports. In case you weren't paying attention, it's going to be on Clubhouse. It's a map that we haven't seen played yet today. We had 2 cafes, 1 consulate, and now Clubhouse. There's actually been a great swath and a large amount of variety when it comes to these maps being played. And I gotta say, it's really nice to see no one map in particular dominate in terms of pick rate.
So we are loading in, but unfortunately, I just noticed that we lost 1 player. So we'll probably go for a rehost, assuming he doesn't get back in time. Who knows? We'll see if he loads back in before the ban phase ends. But starting into that ban phase, we'll just get this underway. Nothing too predictable about this one other than, I guess, the Capital ban. Probably going to be a Hard Destructor or a Thatcher. I mean, I can't imagine it being anything else on Clubhouse. Those are your typical bans on Clubhouse for the attacking side. For the defense, let's see. Who are you going to be banning? Also, it was a Hard Destructor. We got rid of Maverick. Again, expected. Probably like maybe a Goyo, maybe a Bandit, maybe an Echo. For Team Liquid, I'm expecting probably an Echo ban, assuming Team oNe doesn't ban the Echo. Could be a Mira. But Mira or Goyo, maybe. That's my guess.
I think Team oNe is deliberately taking quite a while here to see if they can get their player back in the lobby before they get underway. It's an Echo ban, as was talked about. This is very likely going to be a Mira ban, but I mean, Mira managed to make it through the ban phase yesterday in the Space Station matchup against Tempo Storm, so you never really know.
Yeah, the thing is that Echo... Team Liquid always bans Echo on this map. In fact, they ban Echo almost all the time, so now they've got, like, options, and there it is. It's the Mira. There's a little bit of a reversal here. Team oNe typically banning other operators on this map, and he made it back. Wait, no, he didn't make it back. Somebody left. Okay, cool. So yeah, they lost a player at the beginning of the match. Means apparently he couldn't get back before the ban phase was done. So we were going to rehost. Get to see us again. Hello, hi. And then
Hello.
Once we get the lobby up and running one more time, we'll get this all started. But we know who's banned at least.
We were told there were internet issues. That was the reason for why we had the break earlier on, and I don't know if Team oNe is at a team house, so I don't know if they're having internet issues across the board. I mean, hopefully not. We don't want to see a greater delays or a match possibly ruined by a forfeit or sullied by a forfeit because of problems with an internet service provider, but we will give you updates as they become available. Regardless, we will get everybody back in the lobby and then we'll go from there. When you look at these bans, Michael, Capital and Mav, Capital getting banned is interesting because now there's an operator who can actually hard counter him, and that's, of course, Wamai. If you bring a Capital into a garage hold, you can't just fire arrow the walkway up top the way you could before because the magnets from Wamai will be able to take care of them. And Wamai is an operator who does see a decent pick rate, at least over the last couple play days, on a map like Clubhouse. So is the Capital ban still fully optimal?
I mean, yeah, I'd say he's super powerful, especially on the basement, if used correctly. I think here's the thing with Capital. He's a high ceiling operator. That means there's a lot of potential for effective use. However, not every team fully utilizes Capital. I'll be blunt about that. We've often seen Capital gone unbanned in Clubhouse, played quite a lot, and barely even useful. So, I don't know. It depends on the situation. One thing that is pretty cool is that this is the first match today where we don't have Thatcher banned. Going to change a lot about how this is played.
That's very true. And Thatcher was very much a Latin America ban for a long period of time. Other regions started to adopt it, realizing how powerful and how critical Thatcher is. And then Kali comes in at a perfect time, really. But teams still work around her because if there's no Thatcher, you can just bring a Maverick. But there's no Maverick in this matchup. So expect to see some Electroclaw juggling, the Electro Shuffle, if you want to call it that. Some bandit juggling going on. Well, you can call it the Electro Shuffle. for Kaid trying to juggle his claws. The electro shuffle, even though that sounds silly, it sounds great.
It
and then apply perfectly.
It applies to Bandit and Kaid too, so that's like it's an interchangeable one. The electro shuffle. You can call it denial as well, but that's just it's boring. We don't want to be vanilla. All right, let's just a little bit of flavor in there. So
everything is tricking, impact tricking, Kaid tricking.
That's true, yeah.
We are wordsmiths. We need to find other words and alternatives. But it looks like everybody's back in the lobby, so we should be able to get things up and running, and we'll be as good as golden. But just fingers crossed. Cross your fingers that things don't go sideways, because they do from time to time, and it would be nice. We can use it. Cross your fingers. It's what we need right now.
Yeah.
And we'll await the call to see if we're going to go back in. Everybody looks like they're in. The bans are appropriate.
Looks like it's working.
Cash money. We are in game. It's going to be a church defense for Liquid downstairs.
I get a clap in the chat for we're finally getting it going. Let's go. All right. So basement defense, like you said, Parker. Nothing too crazy with the operator selection on either side, really. Thatcher being played. The elusive Thatcher. So rarely seen in the wild. But finally managing to make it through. As rare as that is. Castle being brought out here for Liquid. Castle, Mute Mozzie, and the Vigil. So Liquid is leaning into the denial, like the delay strategy. They're trying to play into the 20-second meta. They're bringing operators that suggest that at least. So we aren't seeing many teams in LATAM do that. In fact, they're one of two that we've seen really lean into this sort of thought process. The other being MIBR earlier. And that's, it's good. It's cool to see from Liquid. The one thing that I have to say about that, though, is, again, this is the only match where Thatcher's not banned, and Thatcher is the operator that cuts through that sort of denial meta. He is very useful at dealing with mute jammers and Mozzie pests and the like. So it's cool that Liquid's leaning into this and they're trying to make this strategy work. I mean, and as much as I really am glad they didn't ban Thatcher, they probably should have if they really wanted to make this their strategy.
I mean, Thatcher is always a good ban. I was gonna say, please don't tell me we got the mute bug and we need another free house. It seems like we're fine for now, which is great.
Wiping the sweat off my brow right now.
just deep breaths that we're gonna be able to get through this without another rehoster tech issue. So right now, so far, so good. I agree. I think that the Thatcher ban would have been very optimal on a map like Clubhouse. A Thatcher ban and then a Hibana ban always tends to work out quite well. But if you look at the lineup being brought from Liquid, well, they're not going to be sitting inside a site. And Team 1 could be poised to just drop down blue, and that's exactly what's going to happen. They get the call, and Lukid heads on in. He's a great player to have a good gun in the hands of. He'll toss out a couple frag grenades, try to clear the way for falls. Pressure's one up, and there you go. The collapse from Team 1. But PSK finds falls, down goes the diffuser inside of Dirt Tunnel. 90 seconds left, and Liquid will have to tussle with the members of Team 1 who are inside of the site. The buck of Lukid is still positioned as down goes Fellapox. Will PSK be able to see the buck? Yeah, he does, but he can't handle the shots at all. Lukid equalizes, down goes Sexy Cake, an advantage now in numbers for Team 1, but it's gone, and there's a retake from the Mozzie to down Rayduct. It's Skagenia in a 1v3. Sexy Cake down on the ground, finished off. Great gun to have in the hands of your final operator. The Swiss Army knife that we see here. Skagenia will once again pick up that diffuser and now head to go for a plant. He's got so many angles to watch. Looking over towards Moto. That's where the Vigil is going to be playing, and Palu is above as well.
Main priority here for Skadenia is getting that plant down. If he can get it into a post plant, it's definitely very winnable. Liquid, though, might be able to deny. Oh, that's a bad time to come off. He might have actually been able to get that, but maybe not, as Vigil has worked his way into Arsenal. That's Nesk trying to apply pressure and deny the plant. Skadenia does not seem to be aware of this, and that's actually it's not even into Arsenal. It's at the bottom of main stairs. He'll be downed and finished off there, as I think it... I mean, I want to still see this kill, but I think he maybe was sticking his butt out from around those boxes. It must have been, yeah, he was he was not fully in cover, and Nesk is like, okay, sure, I'll take that.
If only there was a casting phrase that would describe what Nesk just did, that would be a throwback many seasons ago.
You know, I can't I'm not really sure what you're talking about, Parker. I don't think that exists. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to Nesk.
Just smacking something. Nesk was smacking.
We're not going to do that to Nesk.
I can't remember. I can't remember it.
Mint is listening right now, and he's cringing. He's going, "No, don't do it to Nesk."
I won't. I'm not. I'm just saying. If only there was. If only
there were.
If only there were. Anywho.
Too bad there's
just with a little bit of the posterior of Zofia that is protruding, and it just gets shot away. So.
Yep. That's what happened. So good round there to Liquid. Honestly, impressive recovery because, I mean, what did we see there? We saw that drop down unreinforced. That's the part that's not so impressive. They didn't reinforce the drop in stock, and that made the round potentially open for Team One. They managed to get site control. It's possible that it was a bait strategy for Liquid. They weren't playing in blue, so that gives more. It suggests that it was a bait strategy, basically. But I don't know. It's very dangerous bait strategy, especially with Lucid doing the seriously impressive work that he did on the entry.
That could have gone very poorly for Liquid, too. Like, are we just ignoring the fact that Team One had near site control within a minute of them popping that hatch and dropping in? They really could have closed that one out, and if it wasn't for Falls not being able to get out of the dirt tunnel, I actually really do think that could have been an exceptionally strong play for Team One.
Yeah, it absolutely could have. Just because, again, mostly that's down to Lucid, in my opinion. Here comes the lifeline to try and disrupt the bandit tricking. It looks like it was successful. Bandit was on the wrong panel anyway, but the wall gets opened up, and that's the main thing.
This is the split push that you usually see come out from one member of the team watching over on that CCTV window, and you have a good cross if it does end up coming to pass. But right now, Liquid are very aware of somebody being there as the drone gets shot out, and that was Moringa that was playing inside a cache who spots it. There's a magnet that'll go up as well, so you can play with a little bit more impunity if you're Palu at the top of rafters and not really have to worry about somebody coming after you. With the Capitao ban, you know first and foremost that those magnets are not going to catch any fire arrows, and you're only going to need to worry about grenades or possibly stuns from a Zofia on the board. Sexy Cake gets downed and then finished off by Falls. No opportunity to get picked back up, and that's the Fragmite now putting in good work. He was on weird repel, and that will come right back up to the top. Liquid obviously smarting after losing that early pick.
Just a slow assault here for Team One. Assessing their options. Product looking for maybe a pick or two through the wall. Not going to get anything yet. Still garage control, I believe, for Liquid. Sounds like it's Palu playing inside a garage. Now, with only having that... is that an unreinforced workshop wall? That will be utilized by Team One. They're going to move Lucid over here, open up that wall, and there it is, as I say it. That means that Team One has a lot of holes being poked into this bomb site, with very limited control here for Liquid, to be honest. This is going to come down to a very explosive execution. C4 does get Falls in Workshop. It's a 3-man Workshop, 1-man in through server. Fellapox gets one, Lucid with the nade. Lots of explosions happening in cache. There's no more control in cache for Liquid. They need to monitor that. Nest gets Fellapox, who had pushed into server. That's really big. No one planning the diffuser right now. Nest gets the second. Where is the plan? Bad coverage here. The third for Nesk, but he just barely misses out on the last one. And poor positioning there from Nesk allows for Lucid to get the kill.
Nesk almost saving that round, but two of the best players in this server will go up against one another, and it's Lucid coming out on top in large part because Nesk rushed when he probably shouldn't have. So with that, it was a fight back from Nesk being posted on red stairs and then just coming out, shooting a couple bodies as they decided to funnel their way in. And you didn't even need the Wamai to really break much of a sweat.
It was a really good round from Nesk, but to be honest, I'm just surprised that we didn't see more from the rest of his team when it comes to holding on to the actual cache bomb site. Really poor control there. Straight up. attack from Team One was made much easier by the fact that the workshop wall was unreinforced. I really don't know why they didn't why workshop wall wasn't reinforced. I can't fathom the thought process there. It must, the only, I'm saying this to play devil's advocate. The only thought process I can think of is, they're trying to bait, right? They want them to attack through workshop wall. But that didn't work. And it was kind of the same story with that stock drop that wasn't reinforced. And again, the only thing I can think is that, Liquid are trying to bait Team One. They want Team One to come through the blue drop down, but that was so dangerous and it almost cost them the round. And this time, unreinforced workshop wall, well, that did cost Liquid the round. Not exclusively, of course, but it's a big factor for sure.
So here we go again. Back on Nakash and CCTV with another opportunity for Team One to enact just as much pain as they can. Active bandit tricking from PSK, but you can juggle that one quite well with a well-timed EMP, providing that your Thermite and or Hibana are in position to be able to do something with it. We saw that the Hibana actually was posted up over the back of CCTV looking towards construction because they didn't expect that soft wall. As you noted, that was taken out by Lukid. There go the bandit batteries, and Skagenia is there to try and stop the bandit from being able to do too much, stunned out of the ability to trick that wall, or juggle that wall if you want to call it, as PSK is forced back deeper into the site, or at least towards the top of red stairs. So wall opened up from Team One. All it took was 2 stuns from Zophia's launcher, a single EMP, and an exothermic charge. We've seen teams commit far more utility to getting that wall open, so a job well done from Team One on that front.
So, okay, upon second assessment, it's pretty obvious now. Liquid are trying to hold Master, and they're trying to leave the workshop wall open so they can use that hole, or they're trying to shoot people as they come in from Master on a long angle. But it just, I don't know. That seems like such a risk. And we're going to see if it pays off for Liquid the second time around. They're using the same exact setup as Team One begin to take control of workshop. They'll be starting just after this peak comes out. He's like, oh yeah, the hole's open. I can buck that wall again. He'll probably move on over to open that wall in just a little bit after he's got more support from his team. He could come in through office. Doesn't have to go in directly like this, and he's probably going to do that now as he hears the shots coming out. But no, he full commits. An exchange somewhere else, possibly by the garage. A nice peek there from Luke, and he gets one. Nades goes to the top of the staircase, looking for more. Nades will deny the peek from that position, but no kills. Vault on in. PSK will get reduct as he rushes the site. Lukid and Ill-Advised rush as well as he dies to the shield. PSK gets falls as well. Now it's just Skadinia, who had gotten 1 kill for his team on this entry. He needs to find 2 more. Plenty of time to do it, but diffuser down, so not an ideal situation, to be sure. PSK on low HP, and SexyK with an ump. That puts this actually very winnable for Skadinia.
He's got the diffuser in hand, so it's definitely workable, but he doesn't have any information, and that's going to be the major issue. Additionally, PSK might have a C4, not entirely certain. His plant is being attempted. Is there still a bulletproof camera up? We're not sure. Both members of Liquid are down below. There's Bandit with the C4. Down goes the Zofia, and they'll have no problem being able to go get that diffuser, and the round will be Liquid's. There's no claymores, nothing to worry about. Very well played by Liquid to be able to understand where the diffuser was going down and then play off of it as well. You mentioned earlier that it was a master hold for them as Liquid were looking for a retake. They've done retake strats many times, and in this particular instance, it works out perfectly with Skagenia totally blind and then dead.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was either a master hold or they were trying to play the long angles into master, right? So in this case, Liquid didn't linger in master very long, and Team One cleared out master pretty quickly. And it looked more like Liquid were trying to play those long angles. I mean, I guess it worked out in the end, but I still don't necessarily agree with the whole leaving workshop wall unreinforced thing. That's so dangerous, and it's not necessarily been an advantage for Liquid through either of those rounds, whether winning or losing. In fact, in that last round, they managed to win just on those heads-up gunfights, and then their ability to position their C4 under the site in the 2v1. Very smart from Liquid. adapting to the situation. I'll go to the basement now to see how they fare here. This was the first site that they brought, and they did manage to win it. They took the risk of leaving the stock drop unreinforced, and Team 1 fell right into that one. It actually worked out at the beginning for Team 1, but Liquid cleaned it up in the end, again with a clutch.
10 seconds left.
Back down we go to Church Arsenal, in which a lot of the play just simply hinged on a drop through blue for Team 1. Well, I suspect we're probably going to see something different this time around. Though Liquid is setting up with that same roam style of strategy and is a very common, almost space station-esque roam. You look at the setup and usually you'll have the Legion play on site, maybe the Mute, but then the Mozzie, the Castle, and even the Vigil can play off-site relatively easily. It certainly seems that that's the way it's going to be set up. Because if you look, well, that stock hatch is once again totally soft. And if you're Team 1, you can just begin to open it up and go for another rush if you really want to. Though I suspect Liquid is probably going to be ready for it this time around.
Looks like they probably will. I mean, right now it's looks to be a clear on the top floor, but we're pretty far into the round at this point, so I don't think that they're going to commit to that drop as nearly as much as they had the first time. They know there's 2 roamers up here, or they know there's at least 1 because they're clearing this very thoroughly. Drones coming out. Lucan looking for targets. Not able to find anything just yet. Dini's going to apply some pressure from that south balcony into Master. And he's going to actually get Palu. So that'll be called out to Lucan. He'll lose his drone, but I think he maybe just was trying to clear out the pest. I'm not really sure why he didn't just shoot it. Probably not aware it existed. Lucan all the way into workshop now, but he's still got to deal with that 1 roamer inside of office. I'm not entirely sure who that is, but I know he's got to be around there somewhere. Probably Nest, since he's playing Vigil. Moringa will get Lucan, so possibly him. And yeah, I know it is. It's Moringa upstairs, the Mute. You might even get a second one. Yes, there he is. On the retake of Cash. He's going to maneuver, actually. Cash dares get caught in that transition. Bellafox should be able to win this, but he loses it miraculously. 3 kills for Moringa, and a huge loss to Fellapox, who just didn't commit to the fight.
Oh my goodness, that should have been a very easy hold for Liquid there, as the action happened with quite a fury, and Liquid manages to come out looking great after those 2 different altercations, which probably should have broken in favor of Team 1, but they don't. Just much better accuracy and control in the hands of Liquid. They'll lose Sexy Cake as the push down the stairs will be onto the Hibana, and it's 2 kills very fast. PSK and Nesk on opposite sides of the map, they will collect their kills, and Liquid will now go up 3-1.
I have no idea what happened there with that Nomad. It was I mean, that was embarrassing. Pretty sure that was Fellapox. Really unfortunate that happened. He challenged the Mute, then ducked, then challenged, then ducked again. And at no point when going for a challenge did he manage to get the kill. And that Mute was, I think it was Moringa. He was in the middle of a reload when the first challenge came out. Then he switched to his shotgun when the second challenge came out. And then on the third challenge, well, it's too little too late. He's gotten a shotgun and up close with you. You can't play that scared, man. You're never going to get anything. I don't know, that was odd. Of course, it wasn't the only factor there. Moringa also managed to do some seriously impressive work in getting the other 2 roam hunters who were trying to hunt him down in office. Killed both of them, and then rotated to Cash to try and retreat. So yeah, props to Moringa. Even if he had died there, it would have been a really good round from him.
And they did all that with one of their standout performers now actually performing among the worst on the team and being an early death in Palu. And one of the things that's kept Liquid as one of the best teams in this region has always been that depth. And we talk about depth an awful lot, but I mean, when you've got somebody like Moringa who can top frag, you've got somebody like PSK who has, shown himself to be a tremendous player, and then now you look at both Palu and Nesk. Nesk, I mean, you don't even need to say anything about Nesk. The man is one of the best players that has ever touched this game, and his consistency has been just as on point as ever. But if Palu starts to wake up, then this is going to be a major problem for Team 1. And I know that you came in and I accused you somewhat in I guess, humorous spirit of underselling Team One here, but we both knew going in that this was going to be a very tall task for them. It doesn't help that, of course, they're starting on a very defender-sided map as the attacking side, but barring a couple really strong plays from Liquid, I really haven't seen anything that would give me a ton of confidence in the way that Team One would be able to tackle what Liquid is throwing at them. And that's an issue because even though on defense you're going to have a boost as Team One, you're still going to be going up against a really formidable attacking squad in Liquid. So anyway, we talked about Bandit juggling, and it actually looks like the Bandit might miss out. He gets stunned. You're not going to be able to do all that much. Palu's going to have to fall off again, and there goes the Jacuzzi wall. But Bathroom has been entirely opened up, allowing a rotate for the Bandit and an escape path for him with a minute off the clock.
Surprised that didn't get reinforced as the Jacuzzi wall was getting opened up. Fellapox is going to eat some damage there from PSK, who is just peeking wildly. Possibly, actually, no, not PSK, but rather Moringa. PSK is also going to peek, though, and he will down one. Moringa gets eliminated in the hallway. There goes the Goyo shield. That's going to force PSK to stay safe inside of the bathroom. Balls will get picked up after he tripped and fell. And now, Team One have a man advantage. But it's not a full, it's not a full court press. They haven't fully won the round yet. Nade will go in. ADS is cleared. PSK dead. Beautiful job there to Team One. They'll get their second kill for this round. Liquid
ADS,
primarily.
I don't know if you saw it, but the ADS was actually placed quite sloppily. It was on the wall right next to where they'd been completely shot out, and that's really terrible. You could have easily just tucked it in somewhere where the attackers wouldn't have been able to remove it from. But I mean, mind you, there is a Thatcher on the board, so Fellapox might have been able to find it. There's a run out from the Jaeger of Nesk, who is now isolated and very deep off site. And if you're Team One, you know that, and you're making that call. Sexy Cake takes out Skajinja, and a great shot from the UMP. We didn't get to see it, but the fact that he was simply able to outmuscle anybody with that gun is testament to his own ability. But caught as he tries to enter back into the site. 2 kills from Team One, answered just by Nesk, who's playing off site. It's him against the world. Diffuser down. Team One looking to be able to keep this one close on a gym take. This is the site that you want to be able to win as an attacker. Nesk has pulled off some absolutely inhuman feats before, but going through a wall with no bullet pen at all and nobody to cover multiple angles except for yourself, you're not going to make it very far. Lukid shuts him down on a beautiful pre-fire, and Team One close that gap.
Yeah, that was I did see those ADSs. That was really weird for sure. I'm not sure either what the thought process was there. I imagine they wanted to reinforce that wall before the Jacuzzi wall got opened up. That's what we often see happen, is as you're retreating off the Jacuzzi wall, you reinforce the bathroom wall, and that gives you an extra layer while not sacrificing your maneuverability. But that didn't happen. No reinforcement came out, and that was a big loss there for Liquid, to be sure. The execution was very basic from Team One. It was just a Jacuzzi wall take. There was nothing else going on there. The real fault falls in the feet of Liquid, really. They were peaking way more than they needed to. They gave away way more kills than were necessary. I mean, I believe it was Moringa on the Goyo peeking in the hallway. What? Why? It's completely unnecessary. There's also the poor ADS placement, allowing for the easy kill onto the Kaid rather, who is inside a bathroom. Why? There's a lot of questions that could be asked about that. And yeah, of course, there's the Thatcher, so the ADS is maybe not such a big deal, but it doesn't matter. It's about making it easier for your opponent. You can make it as difficult as possible, and that's going to give you advantages like being able to, avoid dying to a nade. Maybe you put the ADS deeper into bathroom, further away from the radius of a typical EMP charge. Who knows? What we do know is that was a poorly played round from Liquid, to be sure, and a very simple attack strategy from Team One executed well. Also, you said something in the analysis leading into the actual action of that round, and I want to highlight that. I think it's really important. To paraphrase, apart from what we see from Liquid, there's not a lot to be said about Team One and their, ability to control rounds or control matches. And I think that's really been the story for Team One for a good long time. Lukid's always been that guy who stands out, and of course, the reason he's allowed to do so is because of support from his team. He doesn't just, make magic happen. He has players on his team who give him information, allowing him to not mess things up. But that's the key thing, is that Lukid doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And in that last round in particular, he had a large role in winning that round, not only on the entry, but also on the post plant, on the hold to the workshop door. He was integral in that round.
There was a time when BC was an active player. There was a time when his fellow combatants in North America would refer to him as a constant pressure, a constant force. Very similar to what we see at a Montaigne, who is being played by Fellapox. So that's not just a transition, but that there are a lot of people who refer to him as just being a constant force. You're always under pressure when you know that BC is on the map. And I would say the same thing about Lukid. He's great at making space for himself. His teammates are exceptional at finding spaces for him, and he is always somebody that you need to keep in the back of your mind with how he plays. Right now, it looks like he's close to being able to escort the Montaigne in to the garage. There's a Jaeger playing down below. Nesk, that carbine in hand, will deal great damage.
There's also Palu
up top. Look at that. We thought the same thing.
on the same page here. And yes, that's going to be the garage hold as a focus for Team Liquid. Fellapox trying to stop that. Skadinia over by the basement will get Nesk. A really important kill. Let's lead off the round. There goes your Jaeger. He was in Oil Pit. He was supposed to be helping the dock hold garage. And now Paulu's going to have a really tall task.
He goes, he's just going to walk right up and goodbye. Just, why don't you take a seat? There's really not much you can do there, and the dock needed to get out of there, but the problem is the moment the dock starts to run, the shield drops, and Fellapox is just going to light him up. No support for Palu, who's basically left to die. This is Liquid playing, I think, a little bit too far back right now, surrendering so many opening duels to Team One that they are really just, they're having to pay for it. Liquid only have at best one opening duel. That's it. Falls is getting the plant down, by the way. He gets Nitro celled. Sexy Cake taken out by Skadinia, and Moringa and PSK in a 2v4. Liquid are in a tough spot. PSK guns down Lukid. There's another for PSK. A third for PSK, and Moringa gets in on the fun, and just like that, the retake for Liquid, it materializes in front of our very eyes, and with it, up in smoke goes Team One's chances. Liquid, 4-2. Really masterfully played.
Yeah, big round from PSK, the 4K, the initial denial and the follow-up on those frags, just really holding on to the site solo from the cache stairs. That's huge, especially when you have a Montaigne nullifying a whole flank, a whole potential avenue to retake your site if you're Liquid. So Falls, Team One in a decent spot, having gotten 2 rounds, but definitely Team Liquid in control. So 2 rounds on the attacking side is not bad. Let's be clear about that. If they had gotten 3, it would have been really good. So this is definitely far from over. We'll see Team One now go into defense, and now they have the advantage of defense on Clubhouse. Wow, look at PSK's contributions right now. 10 kills in this match. And of course, he got 4 in the last round, but that's still, that's just impressive.
PSK has been playing a deep lurk roam, very similar to what we see out of a lot of players that just kind of wait and play on flank, and Team One's flank watch has really been miserable so far in this matchup. There have been some issues with the way that Team One have played, but their flank watch has been largely non-existent. That's why they were bringing the Nomad for a while, but even the Nomad wasn't particularly effective at it. Nesk has been taking fights head on. PSK has been waiting and cleaning up and kind of mopping up forces at the end, and it's paying dividends for Liquid. In fact, I thought that last round in particular, there was too much of a retake being set up from Liquid, but I was wrong, and that's a big part of why I'm not an active player. That's why I'm just a caster. But it doesn't really matter. PSK has been playing while Liquid have been, biding time and then catching Team One as they try to transition into or out of an execute here. It's working out very effectively for Liquid, and I think a large part of that falls down to their comms and PSK being able to play off of that. He seemed to know where every single person was in the dying moments of round number 6, and that's not just a story for round 6, that's been a story for most of this matchup.
Don't disillusion yourself, Parker. You know that if you came back from retirement, you'd be a dominant force in Pro League.
From gold?
No, from your past experience.
Dude, what are you talking about? I'd be the best gold in Pro League you've ever seen.
You dominate. Speaking of domination, PSK getting yet another kill, this time onto Skadinia. Paula will add to it. I don't even know where these kills are coming from, but they are really coming to Liquid's favor. I'm assuming these are roamers that are being dispatched here. Team One really feeling it. What a reaction from Moringa. Oh boy. Product goes down, and now it's a 2 versus 5. Well, that was fast.
Drone activated. Tossing EMP grenade. Attackers have located
This is
the
basically
bomb.
all but over at this point. Falls is going to wait and with the TCSG in hand, try to hit somebody. Loses the shot on the Nesk. A thing of beauty that will come in. Everybody from Liquid is still upright. They're all very low on HP. Almost a perfect pyramid, actually, if you saw that. But a flawless round from Liquid to start off on attack. And, well, you have the benefit of being on defense on Clubhouse, and you're not even able to pick up a single kill. Liquid just totally in charge of this matchup right now. And Team One are going to have to do something and do something quick because this match is very quickly tilting in favor of Liquid.
That was about the easiest, breeziest round I've seen all day. And there's a couple layers to that. I mean, it started with Liquid just, we're going to walk into the middle floor and start opening drop downs, then hit the site. And then as they do that, two roamers confront Liquid and both die immediately upon confrontation. Then Liquid drops down. And people are confronting, or more people on Team One are confronting Liquid as they try to transition to a site take, and then they're all dying. And then suddenly it's just Lucan, and he's like, and he's in Arsenal, trying to hide behind a box, but he dies before he can even start to try to retake the site. That was the easiest, breeziest round I've seen all day.
I like easy breezy. Something that I used to use when Breezy was an active competitor, but... So, Cash CCTV defense up top for Team One, and Liquid are they are very unpredictable. I mean, you said it yourself. You don't even know where half these kills are coming from.
Yeah. They're just popping up.
10 seconds
So
left.
suddenly Liquids are getting kills.
But that's the way that Liquid has always played. Liquid is an extremely unpredictable team that it can be very hard to read and constantly changes things up. They are not by any means predictable. You know, that fabled G2 Team Liquid matchup that you and I got to watch at DreamHack Winter when Gohan had just come onto the squad and they were playing Ying and different operators on Coastline in ways that Shas, the coach of G2, said, I have never seen teams play before. So it's always been a point of pride for this squad with how innovative they've been and just how good they are at being able to punish opponents in terms of utility usage. But then you've also got that, that secondary threat of the fact that they are a team of gunners and they are capable of just hitting shots and winning in their gunfights in incredulous ways.
Bomb located by attackers.
Absolutely agree. I mean, it is definitely the formula that makes Liquid Liquid, I suppose. And there's all the layers to it, of course, but they are a pretty complex and deep team. And to dissect it all would be nearly impossible. And that's all, I mean, part of that's thanks to their experience and their long tenure. Now, nades and flashes going in through the drone hole to try and clear out the bandit, try to get him off the wall. The stun's going to need to be used as well. Skadini's going to continue to trick. I'm not sure if he's gotten an exothermic yet, but he's still trying. And he's not going to be able to get it. Perfectly timed lifeline there from Nesk. You could see that Skadinia nearly got his battery down to stop that exothermic, but not so because of Nesk's lifeline.
Once again, very little utility that's used to open up that wall. It was great the way that Team One was able to do it, and now the favor being repaid by Liquid and how they established that control. It's going to leave Falls isolated inside a garage to just watch that opening with Raduk not too far off, and they will both be able to establish a crossfire if need be, but Raduk's focus is elsewhere. It certainly looks like he's got his eyes trained on construction, maybe even on the top of red. Discovery work still going in with a minute on the clock for Liquid to be able to push this one onto match point. They've been in pretty much full control of this matchup, but Cash CCTV does tend to skew more towards the defense.
And now the attack is going to transition over to Workshop. You can see it right after they open the wall. Team Liquid want to execute from Workshop, and they'll have light pressure from the balcony over on the east side, but the main focus is hitting that Cash bomb site. So the rotation cutoff, that's rotation cutoff right there. That's Ness getting that kill, doing its job. And that means that Liquid can focus primarily on Felipox and Lukid, who are holding from the stairs and from Cash itself.
Masterfully done. And that opening pick for Liquid is they're starting to get their numbers on the board. The attackers have actually had a really strong start to every single round, but I say strong start because, well, look at the clock. Just over 10 seconds. And up Nesk will have to head on in. There's a C4 from Skajinia on to Sexy Cake, fishing for the Goyo inside of Rafters. Can't do it right now. It's all blue all the way down. Skajinia in particular just playing so perfectly with the rest of his team and allowing Team One to stay in this match perfectly played at the top of those red stairs, and you won't need to really watch two angles at that point. Cache CCTV goes in favor of Team 1, but now they'll have to go to a maybe less defendable site in either Gym Master or Church Arsenal downstairs. Given the way that Liquid played it, Church Arsenal is very much for their taking, and it does indeed look to be locked into the bottom floor.
So a decent setup there from Liquid, but when it came to the actual execution, they had a few things lacking. Of course, that garage control not being in hand, not great. They wanted to utilize, or not utilize garage as much as not have to worry about garage, so that they could push more focus on cache. But that wasn't something that Liquid considered. They were like, oh, okay, if we can get a garage pick, sure, but they weren't putting, weren't putting a bounty on it. We're putting focus on garage. Now, we saw what happened last time Team 1 went to the basement, but you can imagine it's not going to be nearly as easy for Liquid this time. I don't think Team 1 is just going to hand it to Liquid on a silver platter like they had. I wonder if Team 1 is going to go for a roam again, because that was a big part of the problem, clearly, for them when they were defending this basement. In the first round of the second half, they lost 2 players who were roaming in pretty much as soon as Liquid got into the building, way too quickly, and then were never able to recover.
Once again, Liquid's pacing is always very odd, and it's a mysterious thing to behold with the way that they play, because they hold this really strange rhythm in comparison to NIP, who they often play against. NIP have a pacing that they themselves set and do so quite well, and they just never really relent, and they set the tone for most of these games. A lot of times, Liquid is very passive and allows the tone to be set by their opponents, because Liquid know that they're always in pretty firm control. The issue with this becomes when you do eventually lose control, you have no way to gain it back. And as we've seen on a couple of these defenses when Liquid was on defense, was that if they falter, their retake strategy just goes sideways so quickly. When it comes to attack, Liquid need to be the team to set the pace. And not that they struggle with it, but that round in particular, they definitely stalled out very, very hard. And you cannot begin to get your execute off when there's only 15 seconds left.
Alu opening up the drop down, no Kayi to be spoken of, which means the drop gets opened up nice and easy. There's a thermite as well, so they can open up church wall if they want. C4 going out from Valkyrie possibly? No, I guess Reduct just didn't know that the drop was open. Ran into Moto, saw the drop was open, was like, oh heck, and then turned around. So yeah, okay, that's interesting. They're looking for a Valkyrie cam, by the way. They assume Reduct threw a Valkyrie cam. He might have. I didn't hear it. But that's why Liquid is looking around like they're confused. There it is. They found the Valkyrie cam. All right. So Valkyrie cam dealt with. Now they can decide where they want to execute onto. I'm imagining it's going to be a church wall take. They probably want to open that up, but they haven't rotated PSK over yet. He looks like he's going for it right now. So here we go. Wall opened up in just a second. It's going to be impact tricked by Skadinia. He uses both of them, though, and before he should have. That was a terrible decision from Skadinia, and it might cost his team the round as the wall gets opened up.
Potential fatal error that we caught, and I was just going to actually say that it looks like Moringa's application of that skeleton key upstairs might have been a little bit too sloppy. It doesn't have the same coverage that you'd imagine from a lot of teams. Down goes Falls as Palu gets in on some fun. He's at the bottom of main stairs. He's got an evil eye staring at him, and there might not be enough utility for them to be able to take care of that. Team 1, meanwhile, is completely isolated on the east side, but here comes Nesk sound the trumpets as he's at the bottom of blue stairs. There's no Legion on the board, so nobody is going to be alerted to his position. Another kill from Palu as Nesk is just going to burst in, finds the Jaeger. Easy kill for him onto Lukin, and the biggest member of Team 1 silenced will allow Liquid to clean up the remainder, and it's all Nesk. Gorgeous skin running his own team's colors, and well, these colors, they certainly don't run, and neither do Liquid. They confront their challenges head on, and they've got at least 1 point in this altercation. They'll look to seal the deal now. They've got 3 rounds to just pick up a single attacking victory, and right now, if you are Team 1, you cannot go back to cache CCTV. You've lost church twice now. Do you go to gym and bedroom? It looks like the answer to that is yes. And this is usually the site that teams are unsuccessful on when they play defense. Tough situation to find yourself in if you're Team 1.
I'm so fixated on that whole impact tricking thing. there was a situation there where you could have denied, Skadinia could have denied the wall getting opened up
Attackers need to
just with his
locate and
impacts.
defuse bombs.
But he threw both of them and didn't get a single exothermic. And okay, fair enough. There's Excaros as well in play. So Liquid probably would have gotten that wall no matter what. But the amount of wall getting opened up is also relevant. If it's a set of Excaros versus an exothermic, the exothermic is obviously going to be superior for the attack. They're going to get way more ground to work with. Whereas an Excaros, you might not even be able to rotate through that. It might be so small. So it's I don't know. That impact tricking. Oof, that is rough. Team 1 now, at most, can get 1 point out of this round, or out of this match rather.
And for a team that's in dead last,
Locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, it's made even worse by that for sure. I mean, this is on par with expectations, and those expectations were set by the fact that they're in dead last. But that doesn't make it any better, any more sweet for Team 1. It's still a tough pill to swallow.
rough spot to be in for the Team Liquid, or for the Team 1 fans rather, and not so much if you're a Team Liquid fan. You're likely celebrating what has happened so far. I mean, Team 1 had such a promising entry just a season ago, and to watch how much they've fallen off, whether that first season was just an outlier, maybe a flash in the pan, and this is more along their style, I'm not entirely sure, but man, you've got to feel for somebody like Lukid, who right now is just, he's been by far and away the standout performer, and I know that fraggers always get a much bigger set of praise than everybody else, but he makes space on his own, and that level of talent is something that you've just got to give him praise for, regardless of how the rest of his team is doing. Anyway, Jacuzzi Wall opened up, and we can once again go back to focus on Lukid.
Yeah, so you guys hear about Lukid. He's a very good player, exceptionally skilled for sure, and definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Oh no, Ion plays for FaZe. See, it's weird. That sounds like it's almost a joke, but oh my, how did Felipox miss? I don't think he missed, actually. I think he might have hit Palu, but just in the neck or the throat. In real life, you're probably dying to that, but regardless, Palu still lives to see another day. Opening pick from Team 1, roughly half of the round in. So Liquid in a bit rougher shape than they were just a moment ago. Maestro falls to Nesk. Very few people are able to out-duel him when it comes to that. Backpack spotted, and down goes another. Nesk has been on an absolute tear, 15 kills, and he's looking for more, licking his chops, knowing that there's somebody in the vicinity of CCTV, but they've scampered off. They've headed over to Cash, and now he'll try to find them, possibly on the cross. Will he be able to collect another kill? To see Falls push on out? Who knows? Jaeger just within striking distance. That's Skadinia.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Very dangerous position for Skadinia to find himself. Liquid with the man advantage, but they've got to be careful. An interesting angle being played here from Moringa, trying to find the smoke of Falls. He looks for him inside of the vault. Nade coming out here. There's very little time for Liquid. They need to hustle up. The ADS will prevent an indirect kill from Moringa. He's going to have to challenge. He has to drop. Meanwhile, PSK is pushing his way into the site. The drop works! How do you mess that up, Falls? Skadinia gets one, but it's all on Lukid as Ness gets the refrag. Lukid, known to be on the main staircase. He doesn't have a C4. He can't deny from below. He'll have to retake here. There's no choice. Barely misses that shot. The follow-up will be another miss too, and Liquid takes the round and the match. No GGs from Team 1 before they vacate. Oh, correction. Felipox and Falls, they're throwing their hat into the ring. Good on them for those. But Liquid will take that one quite dominantly, 7-3.
It's just a sign of great frustration when they're out of the server as fast as is humanly possible. They did not wait around at all. The moment that was done, they were gonzo, and this was a decent map for both teams, but you got to feel for somebody like Lukid. Nesk is 16.